God commanded us to work 6 days of the week and to rest on the seventh. This commandment of honoring the Sabbath seems to be one of the most neglected, and then we as moms wonder why we are so burnt out. Hello everyone, welcome back, or welcome if you are new. My name is Mai and I'm a Christian wife and mom to 2 boys. If you enjoy homemaking, motherhood, living light of the gospel, subscribe to join the journey. I'm pretty sure everyone knows about Sunday resets, where someone cleans their home, resets for the week coming ahead, the work week. And it's a super popular thing, but over here you will find Sunday rest. It doesn't mean being lazy, idle, but rather it's taking a break from our regular vocation to worship God with the saints, to worship God in private, and to fellowship and be edified by the saints. So I wanted to actually tell you guys how me and my family, we honor the Sabbath, wanting to submit every aspect of our lives to God. Here's just one of those ways that we live out His word. In Exodus chapter 20, verse 8 to 11, it says, "Remember the Sabbath to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is a Sabbath to the Lord your God. On it you shall not do any work, you or your son or your daughter, your male servant or your female servant, or your livestock, or the sojourner who is within your gates. For in the 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested on the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and made it holy." Before we get into this video, I also did just want to say that I'm not trying to give a theology lesson because that's just not my duty. If you want to hear a theology of the Lord's Day, there's many great books, pastors online, your own pastor, your husband who would be qualified to give that to you. But I'm hoping that this video can give you inspiration of things that you can do to actually rest and enjoy the Lord on Sunday. If you and your family do something that I didn't mention, I would love for you to comment that down below, just to be inspiration for myself as well. With all of that being said, let's get into this video of how my family and I honor the Sabbath. It starts with Saturday, the day of preparation, actually preparing for our day of rest. On Saturday, I make sandwiches, and the reason why I do this is because on Sundays, my family, we do picnics. Recently, it's been eating in the car on the way home just because it's been super hot, but when the weather does cool down, we go to a park and we will have a sandwich. I pack the diaper bag, we pick out our outfits for tomorrow. There's no guessing about what we're gonna wear the next day. It's already thought about the day before. And then during family worship, we will pray for God to prepare our hearts to worship Him in spirit and truth the next day. That's typically what we do on Saturdays to prepare us for Sundays. So actually on Sundays, my husband and I will wake up around 6 a.m. to get ready for church. So we have actually been attending a new church for maybe, I think, 6 or 7 months now, so not super new, and we're pursuing membership at this church. Church is a non-negotiable for us. Even with traveling, we will still find a church to go to in whatever state that we're traveling to. It's just a non-negotiable because God is clear that we are not to forsake the gathering of the saints, and we are to give Him our first fruits. So meeting on the first day of the week. After the church service, my church actually has a 1-hour built-in fellowship time where they also have snacks that they give out. Of course, the children love that, including mine. Like I said, we will usually go for a picnic. This church is also huge on hospitality and just being in each other's lives. So a lot of the times after that 1-hour fellowship, we'll be invited to another member's house and continue fellowshipping there. I love the people at my church. They are such godly men and women, very masculine men, feminine women. When I spend time with these people, I want to be a better mother, a better wife. Sometimes faith just looks like doing the next faithful thing. And that's what these people are doing. The women, they are faithfully raising their children, and there's no grumbling about it. I love the attitude. After church, we get home and spend time together as a family. I'm not focused on the dishes piling up. It's not going to be a main focus of mine to keep the kitchen clean or the house clean in general. I'm not trying to say that doing dishes or house chores is a sin on Sunday, but what I am trying to say is that it shouldn't stress us out or be a main priority that day. Being a wife, mom, and homemaker, that is not our primary identity first. We are a child of God, and He wants us to delight in Him this day and to rest, to take a break from the vocation that He has called us to. I know how consuming checking off a chore on the to-do list can be, where sometimes I actually need to physically get out of my house to really enjoy my kids. But yeah, this day I have no guilt if I'm not on top of the dishes. In terms of dinner is usually something very simple. Typically that means for me something involving ground beef, or I'll prep a crock pot the night before that we can just pop into the crock pot and it will cook. Very simple dinners. And I know we as moms can think, if we don't do it on Sunday, then it just gets pushed to the next day. But that's just reality. There's always things to be done. Even if you finish it on Sunday, there's going to be more things to be done on Monday. So also on Sundays, we don't go out to businesses. For example, we don't go eat out for lunch or go out to Walmart, run errands. And this was a conviction my husband had about 3, almost 4 years ago now. And part of that is because we are requiring others to work when we go into Walmart, for example, on Sunday. So we understand this concept in terms of, going out on Thanksgiving. That business wants to be open because we are demanding service when we show up. And it's the same thing with Sundays. Even an unbeliever working at Walmart is required to follow God's law and to take a day of rest. Or even worse, that this is a believer who has to go to work on Sunday and therefore misses worship. I'm not trying to push this conviction onto anyone. I think it has to be something that is prayed about. Ask God, seek out His word. But there's works of necessity and mercy, like a hospital needs to be open to save lives. This was actually really hard for me to follow in my husband's conviction. To me now it's just normal. We don't go out on Sundays, and that's a normal part of our lives. But in the beginning, it was so hard. And I think we just need to remember that it is our delight and it is our honor to follow God's law. Finally, we do family worship in the evening, which this happens every single night. But on Sunday nights, we will do 2 songs instead of just one. Then my husband and I, we do our private Bible reading after the kids go down. So yeah, that's what our Sundays typically look like and how we strive to honor the Sabbath. Before I end this video, I did just want to read the question and answer 117 from the Westminster Larger Catechism, because it sums this up so beautifully, better than anything that I can come up with. So it says, how is the Sabbath or the Lord's Day to be sanctified? The Sabbath or Lord's Day is to be sanctified by an holy resting all the day, not only from such works as are at all times sinful, but even from such worldly employments and recreations as are on other days lawful, and making it our delight to spend the whole time, except so much of it as to be taken up in works of necessity and mercy, in the public and private exercises of God's worship. And to that end, we are to prepare our hearts, and with such foresight, diligence, and moderation, to dispose and seasonally dispatch our worldly business, that we may be the more free and fit for the duties of that day. That last part where it talks about seasonably dispatch our worldly business, that we may be the more free and fit for the duties of that day, is super convicting because it's like, yeah, we've got 6 days to make Sunday a rest day, to get all our ducks in a row, and yet we don't. Like, God commands us to work and work hard on those 6 days. This whole answer was very convicting, knowing that I fail greatly and knowing that I break this one commandment of honoring the Sabbath. I have broken God's entire law. I'm a sinner whom Jesus has come down to suffer on the cross, and he rose up from the dead, and he now intercedes for me. There's no more condemnation. I can strive to love him because he first loved me, to lay down every aspect of my life to live out God's revealed will, which some people make it seem like such a mystery. What is God's will for me? What is God's will? Who did he make me to be? But we can simply start with his word that he has given to us. What does his word say? To honor the Sabbath, among the other things in his word, but to honor the Sabbath is one of those. And I know that this rest is just a shadow of the eternal rest to come in the new heavens and the new earth. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you all in my next one. Bye-bye.